Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are exploring the world of NFTs and the person who is potentially changing tattooing forever by turning them into a digital asset. If you're new here, my name is Selly EST, and you can catch me here every week talking about tattoos. There's been a huge craze online about NFTs in the last few months. I'm sure you've heard about these. They've been reported on quite a bit, like how Grimes sold $6 million worth of her digital art, or how the CEO of Twitter sold this tweet for $2.5 million. But I will briefly explain what NFTs are. NFT stands for non-fungible token, and I really like the way that The Verge described them as an evolution of fine art, but with digital art. That really made it click in my brain, at least like what's going on here. It's essentially a huge art marketplace, but for the digital world. And NFTs don't necessarily have to be art in like the traditional sense of how you would think of art. Like the tweet, for example, that's an NFT. It's not like someone painted it. But just because you bought the tweet NFT doesn't mean that you tweeted it now or really have it in any way. The tweet remains where it is, able to be copied or shared or retweeted by anyone on the internet. You're now just the owner of that digital asset that may or may not increase in value over time. Now you might be thinking, if NFTs are so intertwined in this digital virtual world, how could they ever possibly relate to tattoos? And you've come to the right place, because I'm going to tell you exactly how right now. So this is tattoo artist Scott Campbell. Scott was born in Louisiana. He's now 44 years old, and in my research I found out that he's a Taurus. So I don't know what to make of that information, but when I look at him now, I just feel like he looks like such a Taurus. Maybe that's just me. Scott learned to tattoo when he was 19 years old in San Francisco, California. And now, 25 years later, he owns and operates Saved Tattoo in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Scott is an incredibly talented tattoo artist, and he has tattooed many celebrities, but he's also really accomplished in the traditional fine arts, and a lot of his artwork has been displayed in museums across the world. In 2021, Scott launched an NFT platform called All Our Best, where he and many other top tattoo artists will be selling their tattoo designs as NFTs. And the buyers of these NFTs have the option to get it tattooed or not. In an interview with Gotham magazine, Scott said, "I love tattooing and my hands could tattoo better than they could do anything else. But because of the finite nature of the medium, it's not an art form that is taken seriously in the same way painting or sculpture or other fine art is. A big reason to that is because even if you're among the best tattooers in the world, you're still kind of in a service industry. And the clients and the collectors who follow your work are mostly just getting bragging rights and an Instagram post. If I shifted the way I work and sell my tattoos as NFTs first, with the option to get it tattooed, that simple mechanism kind of changes everything because it shifts the value from the application process to the image itself. If I create artwork, I'm actually selling you that artwork and not just selling you hours in my chair." So essentially, you'll be able to shop through a variety of tattoo designs from each artist, and then you could buy the rights to a design that, if you would like, you can then get tattooed on you. Scott was pretty vague when news outlets were asking him, like, how much is this gonna cost? And he gave a really rough estimate from about $1,000 to $10,000. So that's obviously a huge range. I guess this would depend on a variety of factors, from the artist to the design. And Scott also didn't go into detail on if that included the tattooing time or not. So I'm not entirely sure about that. So I think this is pretty interesting, and I think there definitely are some real benefits to tattooing. I think what's most interesting about this is that this would give us an opportunity to immortalize our tattoos past our own lives. And this might sound like really far-fetched, but you could potentially in the future pass down your tattoos to your children and your grandchildren, and they would also have the option to get your exact tattoo if they wanted to, or they could just like collect it. In that same article, Scott said, "Even just a few years ago, one of my longtime clients passed away, and his sister reached out and was like, 'Do you still have any of the drawings from any of his tattoos?' She was going through photos, trying to put together some sort of catalog of all the things he had tattooed on him, and I didn't have them. In that scenario, if we had been doing NFTs back then, I could have given my customers these unique archival digital versions of their tattoos. It's such an amazing keepsake that they could pass on. I'm excited to implement that moving forward." So if your loved one passed away and they were heavily tattooed, I do see the benefit of having that artwork passed on, because I mean the artwork would then live forever, and I guess like tattoos would be forever. On the other side, I also think that there's a good amount of benefits for tattoo artists, and it comes down to how NFTs help artists who are creating these artworks. So what's great about NFTs for artists is because of the huge record of information able to be stored on the blockchain, they are able to get royalties as the creator of that artwork anytime their NFT is bought or sold. The creator's name will be forever tied to that artwork, and they can profit longer term off of their artwork, no matter who gets it tattooed, sells, or resells that NFT. So for a long time, there's been an issue in the tattoo community with regards to who owns the copyright ownership of a tattoo. So is it the tattoo artist's copyright because they created the artwork, or is it the person receiving the tattoo who has commissioned the artist to create this artwork and tattoo them? This was a huge debate from like 2016 to 2019. And there were actually legal battles about copyright ownership of certain tattoos. One of the most well-known legal battles over tattoo copyright is over the movie The Hangover 2 and its use of Mike Tyson's face tattoo. So Mike Tyson didn't sue Warner Brothers over The Hangover 2. It was actually the tattoo artist who did Mike Tyson's tattoo, S. Victor Whitmill, who sued Warner Brothers for tattoo copyright infringement after he saw his design being used to promote the film. So Mike Tyson's tattoo artist actually went the extra mile and had registered this tattoo with the US Copyright Office prior to this whole thing happening, but it turns out he actually didn't need to do that, because under copyright law, once an artist creates a design and they're finished with it, they automatically have the copyright of their artwork. So this case ended up being settled for an undisclosed amount of money, and Warner Brothers was able to move forward with the tattoo being in the movie. But this does say a lot about how the legal system views the ownership of tattoos. So when you're getting a tattoo, and even though you paid the artist for that tattoo, unless you specifically collaborated with the tattoo artist on the design, the artist has the full copyrights to that image. You can still take pictures of your tattoo, obviously, and wear it, but when it comes to making money off of the specific tattoo design, that's when we get into these crazy legal battles. So while legally tattoo artists have the ownership of any tattoo that they put on you, creating tattoos as NFTs puts a whole new meaning to the term tattoo collector. Like with any work of art, anyone could come around and do the exact same thing and copy that person's artwork. We see this a lot on social media with tattoos, unfortunately, where people will just completely copy a tattoo design, and they're often just like way worse than the original. And while it's not often persecuted in any way, this is technically copyright infringement of the original designer of the tattoo. Now, there is a lot of copying in the tattoo community that is seen as like perfectly fine. So if you think of really common designs like a rose, a dagger, I'm just thinking of my tattoos, but these common kind of like traditional tattoos are replicated time and time again, and that's not seen as an infringement on anyone's copyright. So there's kind of like a fine line with what constitutes tattoo copying, and a lot of people have been under the assumption that it's totally fine to copy tattoos. But I do think the use of NFTs could help tattoo copying. So number one, it educates more people on the value of the original artwork. Two, there's a huge track of data online for every person that's bought and sold the NFT that you could really easily resource when you're looking at that exact artwork. And lastly, the original artist does have an option to create multiple copies of their individual NFT. So if you take flash sheets, for example, where a tattoo artist will take time designing a few different designs, and customers could come in and pick one, and everyone is aware that this is a tattoo someone else could have, but you want it because it's this artist's design. So you could apply the same logic to NFTs, because when an artist is uploading an NFT, they have an option to make it a single asset or however many copies of that asset they want. So you can see that an artist could do custom tattooing, or they could do flash tattooing as NFTs. So far, NFTs sound pretty great for the tattoo community, but there are quite a few drawbacks to using NFTs in this way. If you've been researching NFTs at all, you'll know that there's quite a significant environmental impact of using NFTs. NFTs use the cryptocurrency Ethereum, and Ethereum alone is responsible for 96 million tons of CO2 emissions since its inception, which is so much considering this thing has only been around since 2015. And before you ask why and how this digital currency emits carbon into the atmosphere, I have no idea, you guys. We just have to accept this as fact and move on. According to Art News, though carbon emissions vary by marketplace, it's estimated that, on average, a single NFT should take responsibility for about 90 kilograms of CO2, which is equivalent to an hour of international commercial jet flight. So that's a significant addition to your carbon footprint, and that's just for one NFT. So we should really keep the environmental impact in mind because it's huge. With NFTs in general, another issue is the commodification of art. And this leans into just how capitalist our society is and is heading towards. And it's difficult for artists who are in this kind of gray area of obviously wanting to live in this society, but also not wanting to sell out. So this is more so like an ethical dilemma. So if you think about it, if you're constantly attaching a dollar value to artwork, how does that change the original artwork? Is artwork then made for artistic purposes, or is it made for money? And on the other side, these buyers of the art, do we think that they are interested in the art itself, or are they interested in the potential financial gain or clout of having a rare artwork? And who's to say that someone can't just go and create an NFT of another artist's artwork and then profit off of their artwork longer term? So I feel like this whole thing is just so new, and there's a lot that still needs to be figured out here. I think for individuals who are really passionate about collecting and getting tattoos, that this is less of a problem for that group of individuals. But when you think this could go to literally everyone, I feel like there could be a lot of messiness that could come out of it. As of today, when I'm recording this, so this is January 2nd, 2022, on the All Our Best website, you still are yet to be able to buy tattoo NFTs, but I did sign up for their updates, so I will keep you guys updated on if this is ever something that you could actually buy. Overall, this is pretty crazy, and it has definitely made my brain hurt in the last few days that I've been researching this. Really, NFTs is such a huge wormhole, and once you start going down the wormhole, it's hard to stop. But that is all that I have for you guys today on tattoo NFTs. So let me know what you think about the future of tattoos as it relates to the whole crypto NFT world. Is this something that excites you guys or something that kind of worries you? I would love to know what you guys think down below. But if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you have, leave me this emoji in the comments so that I know that you are a real one. Bye everyone. If you guys have been watching this video thinking, Celeste, something's different about your hair, you're right. I decided to bleach it myself, and I can't say that I did that great. I think it's okay, but I'm gonna try again next week. So this is a work in progress, so please don't judge it too harshly now. I'm trying to get it white.